o'clock news is next. Driving rain, hail pelt the Southland. It was a record-breaking storm, and we will show you the effects of the rain. Also tonight, explosives discovered in the Arco office tower downtown. Deadly flooding in Oklahoma and Illinois, we'll show you. And a bitter foreign policy defeat for President Reagan. All coming up in our half hour of news next.
Right here on the Channel 11 8 o'clock news, police dig up the backyard of an L.A. home looking for drugs, and we will take you there live to see what they have found already. And we'll show you what local synagogues are doing to guard against terrorism during the Jewish New Year. California lottery is 1 year old, but has the gamble really paid off for our schools? We'll try to answer that question. Your child's intelligence may be related to how tall he is. These stories and more right here next.
News is next. The CIA denies that a man whose plane was shot down in Nicaragua is one of their agents, but their story is being challenged tonight. A large number of protesters turn out for the opening night of a Soviet dance troupe in Hollywood. We'll have a live report. Academy Award-winning producer Hal Wallace has died. And we are going to take you to Boston for a live report on how the Angels are doing in their battle for the pennant. Coming up next, so stay with us. Channel 11's 8 o'clock news is next. We're going to have a live report on the future of football at Monrovia High School following a shooting there last week. There are some tarnished halos in Boston tonight. Rick Monday will report live on the Angels' battle for the pennant. A top State Department official resigns because he says the Reagan administration lied to the news media. And scientists say we are overdue for a huge killer quake, and they may know where it's going to hit. All those stories plus all the news coming up next right here. Channel 11's 8 o'clock news is next. We're going to look into a possible Southland connection to a secret war reportedly being waged by the CIA in Nicaragua. Stars of the music world asked street gangs to lay down their weapons. We'll find out if gang members were impressed by that plea. The RTD discloses problems with drinking among some of its drivers. And the 4th television network goes on the air with Joan Rivers, and we're going to give you a sneak preview. All that coming up next, right here, so stay with us. Serious drug problem, all coming up in our half hour of news next.
The Channel 11 8 o'clock news is next. Even after the failed summit, President Reagan insists there is still hope, and we'll have a live report from Washington. Here in Los Angeles, the brother of a pro football star is shot to death execution style. Temple goers are forced to evacuate during Yom Kippur services in New York. And do you want to know who's got more money than anyone else in America? We will tell you in our half hour of news coming up right here next.
o'clock news is next. Explosives turn up mysteriously in Van Nuys, forcing evacuation of the courthouse there. Workers discover an entire shantytown full of people buried beneath rubble from the earthquake in El Salvador. We will take you to a local memorial service for those victims. California kicks off the largest numbers game in the nation. Rick Monday reports live from Boston on Game 6 between the Angels and the Red Sox. Coming up right here next. The 8 o'clock news is next. Explosions rip through Israel's holiest place of worship. Efforts to airlift badly needed medical supplies to El Salvador run into a roadblock erected by that country's own government. We will introduce you to a man who sued the Soviet Union, may have won $500,000. And Robert Osborne will have a preview of a new film with a brass-knuckles look at punk rock Sid Vicious. All coming up in our half hour of news next, so stay with us. News is next. A chopper crashes into the Pacific Ocean. We'll report. The faint sound of a woman's voice is heard from under tons of rubble in earthquake-torn San Salvador. A former professional football player has died of AIDS, and actor Tom Cruise is honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. All this and more next, right here on the Channel 11 8 o'clock news.
This.
Channel 11's 8 o'clock news is next. An emergency airlift held up by red tape will finally get off the ground, headed for El Salvador. Air Force One has a close call with the president on board. Chief Justice Rose Byrd fights back with some charges of her own now. And the Queen learns the hard way that you can dress him up, but you can't take Prince Philip to China. These stories and much more coming up next right here, so stay with us.